Good evening. This is Point Blank at KTN News here at the Nairobi Serena. Dr. Martin Luther King said, only when it's dark enough can you see the stars. Will KALONZO MUSYOKA be president of Kenya? Is it dark enough? Let's ask him. Steve, I know you are bearing gifts.
Yeah. I must, my brother Tony, I've written here to my friend and brother TG. Please enjoy the reading. And the title is Against the Odds.
Oh, could I? Mheshimiwa. Asante sana. Oh, yes. And then, oh, this is good. Mheshimiwa, I want to, oh, this is very well. I noticed within the book, there's a section I see here, my brother departed Mutula Kilonzo. But I see you say you were stunned. And when you looked at the Kikuyu and Kalenjin communities, they came together in what Mutahi Ngunyi was to describe as the tyranny of numbers.
That's right.
The tyranny of numbers. And this must inform you of the need to change the presidential system.
Yes.
Of 50+1 to parliamentary.
Not necessarily parliamentary. As I said earlier during the presentation, our considered view as of now is to have the Bomas draft, where you, and if you like, clearer, nearer home, the Tanzanian model.
Or the hybrid.
Yeah, the hybrid. Because that is sufficient to spread the net so that every community feels included. Because we, truth be said, we are a nation of 43 nationalities, all living together. And so the fact that we went the devolution way, and remember when we were sitting down as CORD, we were tear-gassed outside anniversary towers when we said IBC must go and that kind of thing. We were even pitching for a document that was IBC rejected because they said we did not have a valid 1 million signatures. Because we are saying that we need to be able to increase allocation from 15% to 45% with the possibility of even having not just a CDF, but even ward funds. Yeah? Now we're still stuck at 15%. Therefore, devolution to us was important. Devolution is a way to go. But because the reason, the argument that informed this discussion about devolution was the fear that people, 2 or 3 people win leadership. They sit in Nairobi and share resources every which way, but to the disadvantage of people on the ground.
Mheshimiwa, I hope your supporters will forgive me for having to ask you this.
They may have to.
Watu wanasema wewe ni mtu ya katikati. Wengine wanasema una uoga. Wengine wanasema wewe ni watermelon. Hata hiyo tear gas unasema they said you may not go and you were there.
Oh my friend.
I saw you at the
hata kofia yangu written wiper ilibaki kule.
So that we put this matter to end.
Yes.
Who is KALONZO MUSYOKA?
Tony, KALONZO MUSYOKA is who you see. I hope I've been able to discuss these issues clearly, fearlessly, only guided by what is in the best interest of this wonderful country we call home. And so all those other tags, forget them, because that is not me. You expect, of course, your adversaries, political adversaries, not enemies, to run you down. They call you all those things. That's why I gave you that other expression by Mahatma Gandhi, who was himself a serious revolutionary, all right? Peaceful change. I may not hit you with a stone, but I can hit you with a mental stone so strong that you fall down flat. And that is me.
Where does KALONZO fall on money laundering? I think KALONZO, there's been a number of matters that worry the country.
Yes.
Many say this is the most corrupt period we have ever lived through. I mean, it is baffling.
Remember when we used to shout, Moi must go?
Yeah.
And one time Moi said, you might remember me. This is what has been going on, this war against graft. And this is why some of us, you may think we have said we are working with President UHURU Kenyatta, and that is true. But on this matter of graft, I think he is time-bound, all right? So I can see what Governor Central Bank has already done. And if you ask yourself the question, why did this have to happen at this time? It is obvious. The answer is obvious. There are people with millions and millions of shillings stuck in containers, stuck in whatever things. And if they know themselves, I think they now know time is up. I actually would have wished that President Uhuru and the governor did what Prime Minister Modi did in India. Overnight, said that this is completely useless. Because now all manner of things are happening. Yeah, I'm told there's somebody, Mr. Moneybags, with money lending. Yeah, one of my assistants actually, and this is a true story, called me 2 days ago and said his sister called him and told him there's money. People are giving money somewhere in Gikomba. They come with huge sacks. Maybe DCI people should check. And the only thing they want from you is your ID and PIN number. And they give you any loan you require. So he was telling the brother, I'm going for that money. If you hear I've been arrested, you know why. Okay? So it's like people are trying to buy materials with the monies, the bundles that they're keeping, because out there's not much in terms of accountability.
Mheshimiwa, if I'm not wrong, you're a member of the AIC Church.
Yeah, that's true.
And perhaps I think even serve in some philanthropic role within the church or the church leadership. There's this argument.
I actually go to the Baptist church. Sometimes to sit, I do go to church.
There's an argument, Mheshimiwa, that is baffling believers and churchgoers of this cleaning money.
Yes.
That churches have become so gullible that they have put money before the Bible. Kalonzo Musyoka, where do you stand on this issue of unaccountable billions?
Archbishop Sapit of the Anglican Church of Kenya was spot on. And this is a kind of statesmanship we want to see even from the church. Because, as a believer, I want to remind fellow believers that remember that story by our Lord Jesus Christ about the salt. You are the salt of the earth. And if the salt loses its taste, it is worthless. Okay? So I think at the end of the day, we are all accountable before God. And therefore, the church, rather than argue about this, must have asked themselves, can you bribe God? It's not possible. And we came out very strongly on this. We supported those of, because, and again, God is not destitute. You can't go and say, you're going to build him this and the other. The story, Tony, is amazing. I've read through the Bible, and I can tell you that this matter is so basic. If we are fighting graft, we all must do so. Those in our churches, those in the political leadership, those in cooperatives and everybody. Because this is the ghost that is haunting this country at this particular point in time.
Mheshimiwa, I'm really happy you're here because part of the accusations I get at point blank is that though this program is against the deputy president.
Of course not.
There was this man here, Tom Wolf, who used to work for ESOP's Cenovate. And they conducted this polls they conduct. And these polls are perceptions. They're not legal evidence, as you know, as a lawyer. But the perception that senior people in government, and namely the deputy president and others, are the most corrupt. Now, my question to you is that if the churches become the place to sanitize, and
clean dirty money.
Mheshimiwa, you've been in politics. One cannot call you a poor man. But, I mean, you're talking about 10 million, 5 million every week. You've got a battery of members of parliament following you, removing media. I mean, is it fair that the churches become the place for politics? That I don't know what your view.
By the way, with a bit of introspection, I was at the National Prayer Breakfast event this year, which is normally always the last Thursday before Mandaraka Day. And I was privileged to have been the first chair 16 or so years ago. And I heard the deputy president give his story, which was a very moving story, explaining why he should be forgiven for giving money to church. The only little issue I had with that was and he actually said when Kenyatta died, he thought the end of the world had happened, that he bought the first shoe. The first shoe was bought from Jaluo Kodonyango in Eldoret. Very moving story. I don't think he needs to go that way, because this is not targeting William Ruto. This is a challenge to the church, the Kenyan church, to say, please do not clean dirty money. I don't know why he would, because there must be a lot of people who also give. My preferred advice to my brother, William Ruto, would be, please give all this money, but don't make it even public, you know? So if you give in secret lots of money according to the blessings that you've been endowed with, I think the Lord loves that better than showmanship.
Mheshimiwa, as you go forward in your candidature for president and you talk to Kenyans for their vote, in America it's a very serious matter. Campaign financing, the source of your money. I mean, even in the UK, you know, the measures that go against people who don't account for money. Are we almost becoming a country where money will drive politics, not just churches? Is there a danger that, if the Kalonzo Musyokas remain quiet, that then you cannot have democratic elections?
That's why I've come, Tony, to tell the country I shall not remain silent. And I want to ask our countrymen to be thorough. If you're going to develop this country to the next level, then we must be accountable, even in terms of the monies that are publicly expended, right? Report after report by the Comptroller and Auditor General is pointing at the pillage, the stealing, down right across the road, right across the board, at the county government level and every level. By the way, what happened, Tony? I heard the president and his deputy in Mombasa actually say, we are going for a public audit. How do they put it? Yeah? Yeah? That lifestyle audit. What has become? And I think the deputy president once appeared before a presenter like you on BBC, and he said that he was ready for lifestyle audit.
Yes, yes.
The president said he was ready for this lifestyle audit. Where is this audit? And what should have happened? They should have told Duale, who is the leader of the majority, to move with speed and put in place the necessary legislation.
So, Mheshimiwa, let me ask you.
So the whole thing is
let me ask you this. As Butas,
it's actually a fraud.
Let me ask you this. As Butas speared Caesar,
yes,
he left the dagger for himself.
Yeah.
So even if I'm putting this question to you, it should also be put to me.
Yes.
The people who the president calls his friends, the people like you who are telling Kenyans, I'm now working with Uhuru, will this country one day ask, where were we?
Yes, they will.
Because you see, Mheshimiwa, Kibaki, who you served under, and you are the most qualified Kenyan here to speak for Mwai Kibaki, as his principal deputy.
I think President Kibaki slept never one day doubting about the integrity or the good intentions of his vice president. And I hope, and actually, he actually said so before he left office.
But he fired Matere Kireri.
Yes.
He fired Murungaru.
Yes, he did.
He fired Alfred Gitonga.
Yes.
He fired even the very good friend of yours, Mwiraria.
Yeah.
You were there, Kalonzo. What is happening to Kenyatta? Does he not have the steel of Kibaki? This is point blank.
Professor Makao Mutua. Professor Makao Mutua likes to think, to write and say, me thinks. I think the president must be up to something. I get the sense, I'm not him, I haven't spoken to him for quite a while, as you had me mention. But I think wherever he is, he must be boiling from inside. And we want to see the Kenyatta in him. The country wants to see that. I think he boiled out at the Akorino thing. Yeah, there was something Akorino where the president came out fighting. If he can come out on this thing about graft, and I think he has come out, we do not doubt his bona fides, but I think the country now wants real action.
So people are asking me, you went TG, everyone knows.
Otherwise, it will be
They ask me. Now I said, no, why don't you listen to Kalonzo? Yeah. Because now I am, why don't you open our aims? Because they ask, what are you people doing? So why can't somebody go and talk to him? The country.
Well, I think the country is listening. By the way, you know that President Uhuru holds the instruments of power. And those instruments are not just brick and mortar or something, but he has the whole network. The president wakes up knowing the state of the nation. And I'm quite sure he knows, even before we have this exchange, that the country is hurting and hurting seriously because of graft. And I just want to challenge him. This thing about, because he pronounced himself on it, all right, on the lifestyle audit. I think Kenyans want to see, so many of them have been presented before, and this is the outcome. When you were elected member of parliament, this is what you had. Of course, they do feel some fake documentation before the speaker, Speaker Muturi. And even the speaker, and everybody, those who want to help this president and help this country, need to come out.
You know, Vice President,
it's in the American ambassador says we are thieving country.
Vice President, I must tell you, here at Point Blank, Standard Media, we're very excited to have you.
Thank you.
And we are for this reason, because your words don't come from...
My word is my bond, my friend.
Yeah, but they don't come from Raila Odinga.
Okay.
Who the Ruto camp has branded their enemy. They don't come from Murathe or Tuju, who they want to say is a problem in Jubilee. I think this country requires an arbiter, a man of morality and conscience. So I'm putting it to you point blank, that Kenyans need to detribalize and look at what is happening to our government. So I'm giving you an opportunity and I'm asking you, is somebody who loves Kenya more, as Rome were the words of Brutus, that I love Rome more than my own life. Is all well in our nation?
It is definitely not all well. And by the way, Tony, I actually qualified. I'm now a certified arbitrator. And what is happening, Chief Justice Maraga seems to have realized I qualified. So a lot of things, and I'm so excited.
Nancy Baraza was here. She told me you're a very sharp student at the Nairobi Law School.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Please, from Nancy. But the point is this. I applied my negotiation skills to try and help our brothers across the border in Somalia. Even declared myself a member of one of the Somali clans called Digli Mirifli, to separate them from the Hawiyas and the Rots and things and killing each other. They're all Somali, they're all Muslim, but they kill each other on account of the sub-clan they come from. I use the same, I believe, to help our brothers in the Sudan. And what has been happening in the greater Sudan is of great interest in this nation. I think I don't want to build a kind of be seeing to assisting neighboring states, and my own country is falling apart. We need national dialogue over this issue.
When Tomboya died, Mheshimiwa,
yes,
there was a moment. Jem Kariuki died, there was a moment. This country is watching you. Is all well, Mheshimiwa?
All is not well, and time is extremely, extremely of the essence. We need to get our act together as a country. This is what I have to say.
Mheshimiwa, it is a lot of people watching want to know this man Kalonzo after here. Obviously, they have seen the book. You've talked about revamping Wiper. If you were to say in a couple of minutes, what should Kenyans expect to see from Kalonzo? Will Kalonzo be silent? Will Kalonzo speak? Will Kalonzo move to the corners of this country? Will Kalonzo be heard? And I ask you this question because your competitor, Musalia Mudavadi, has been very forceful.
My worthy brother,
your worthy
competitor.
Brother. Yeah, he's been very vocal on public debt. He's been very vocal on matters of corruption. He has been putting the government on the toes. To some extent, there are those who think you're on cruise control. So this man Kalonzo, here at Point Blank, what do we expect?
My brother Musalia has spoken, I think, eloquently about governance from the point of view of fiscal policy of this country, how we should, I think, deal with the matter of runaway borrowing, commercial. I think the words here are commercial.
Yeah, he says we have to freeze.
He believes we should go for concessional thing. But on the other hand, a positive thing, by the way, is that where this borrowing is done and is not stolen, yeah, where the proceeds are not stolen, we can see growth in infrastructure. You must continue to hear. We will continue to advocate. The first republic, and by that, of course, we refer to Mzee Kenyatta, Second Republic under Moi, Third Republic under KIBAKI, and now Fourth Republic under UHURU Kenyatta. The matter of infrastructure development is important. You will continue to hear me being very vocal on this. I know that if we do serious borrowing, we can develop this country further. But it's also important to renegotiate some of these things. I think it's important for us to renegotiate with President Xi on some of these commercial loans.
Yes.
But at the personal level, God willing, the country will be hearing me. I will not sit by.
So, Mheshimiwa, you obviously in your other life have been foreign minister, and of late you represented His Excellency the President of the Barrio and the DRC. But this question of Somalia has been burning, and Weta was here and so said that we should have gone in and out of Somalia, and that decision was made by you and KIBAKI, and you are the deputy president or vice president then.
Collective responsibility.
Kalonzo Musyoka, did we make a mistake to stay in Somalia? Did you drop the ball?
No.
KIBAKI and you?
I remember actually, it used to be a policy, foreign policy for countries who are in the front line of Somalia, namely Kenya, Ethiopia, and Djibouti, not to have military presence in Somalia. And for that reason, even when our economy was doing very badly here, people would get a lot of investment in this country through ISLI, Hawalas, and others. This economy was bouncing because of the friends. I mean, people from Somalia would trust Kenya as a window. But that has changed because when our own internal security was threatened, then the country, under international law, had the right to exercise the right of following the perpetrators of crime. And remember that time, a lady from I think she was of French origin, was kidnapped from Manda Hotel into Somalia, and you could see the effect of Al-Shabaab and the growth of Al-Shabaab. The country took the decision to act. It was a collective decision. So but we didn't want to be there for more than 6 months.
For Kenyans to know, KIBAKI and you, were you going to stay? Should we be out of Somalia?
We had a time-bound...
you took Kenya to Somalia?
Yes, for 6 months. But when our friends in Jubilee took over, they've been there forever, but maybe for good reason.
No, what I'm asking is because point blank. Should we be in or out? Wetangula says we should be out.
Well, let me look at it this way. If the threat to this country is evident that it is from Somalia, we have that doctrine of self-defense, the doctrine of self-defense. Even if we withdraw the numbers, we cannot wish away our presence in Somalia as of now. But of course I was there urging them on under Bagavi to form their government, and I think the maritime dispute is another thing. I would personally want to assist, if I can, in trying to bring amity, because Kenya cannot afford now to go to war with Somalia.
If you could have a last word to Kenyatta, having worked with KIBAKI, who is his older brother, what did you tell him?
I think it was his godfather.
Yeah, he gave him the name.
Yeah.
As this program is coming to an end.
Yes.
Look Uhuru in the eye. What would you tell him about the way KIBAKI's style was and his? The country is watching.
I'll just say, Brother Uhuru Kenyatta, you have the instruments. Exercise them. And the country will be stable. You know, again, I tell you, the late George Saitoti said there comes a time, at the risk of repeating, the time has come now for the president to show leadership over these matters and you heard me say, and I haven't spoken to him, he must be boiling from inside. Let the truth always come out. But again, admittedly, he's running a democratic state, even if our democracy is less than perfect, and indeed it is less than perfect. Let us continue to work together. The time for all-inclusive approach to these challenges facing the country is now. On my part, I'm ready and available to give counsel where the same is required. And I believe everybody else is also ready.
You are watching Point Blank at KTN News. Our 10th Vice President, Kalonzo Musyoka, is telling his brother, Uhuru Kenyatta, their Kama time. It's good to be here. Asante sana for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
This is KTN.
Point Blank by TG was filmed on location at the Nairobi Serena Hotel.